man. I have a kite. Go!
Hey, Daniel, I'll do it again.
300. I have a kite, man.